Hey,
Hello.
hey. I think there's an echo. Oh, give me a sec. There we go. That's better. How you doing, man?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. Pretty excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
excited to be here. It's so funny
Yeah.
to meet again like this.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I must say, you have been my first ever art teacher. And I wanted to say that anecdote because I still remember that up to today. I remember you were our teacher during our first ever week when I was in school in my first year. You were teaching us
Yeah.
Photoshop, and I was that kind of weird kid that at the end of the week was just asking you, "Hey, do you have any tips about becoming a concept artist?" Do you remember your answer?
Oh no, I don't. So tell me. I'm curious.
You laughed and you tell me, "Please don't become a concept artist."
Okay, that sounds like me.
Anyways,
So
so
you didn't follow my advice, right?
yeah, sorry, I've been a bad student. You're not the only teacher I didn't follow any advice of. I was a nasty kid at the time.
And you started as a 3D artist, right? You were in the 3D section
Yeah, I was in the 3D
at the
section.
beginning.
Yeah. Anyways, but today we are talking about you. Hello, guys, in the chat. Hope more people will come. Please feel free to share because that's not every day that we have someone working at absolute badass Blizzard Entertainment. Today we are having Maxence Bürgel. So sorry for the French baguette accent. We have Maxence Bürgel.
Yes.
Senior concept artist, recently hired at Blizzard Entertainment after years and years of trials and tribulation. Before asking you about your backstory, I generally start the stream with a small quote to kind of illustrate who the person we interview is. I have one quote. I don't know if you know who wrote that, but it is, "You are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream." You know who is that
I
from?
don't believe I said that, but I could have.
It's not from you. It's from
That.
it's from someone famous. It's from C.S. Lewis, the author of Narnia, and I think
Okay.
it illustrates you pretty
Someone
well.
wiser than me.
Yeah, I think it illustrates you pretty well. You've been fighting so hard, despite already big career, to get even higher. You reached that.
Yeah, right now I'm like really happy where I am, so I don't like look forward anymore. I just like
I guess
look
so.
at the present.
Yeah, you need to enjoy the moment, especially after
Yeah,
such a
a
big
bit.
amount of work already. So, yeah, let's start, please. I'm assuming. I mean, every time we are discussing, I'm just silent and listening to you because you have so much stories and piece of wisdom to tell. So,
Mm.
I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty silent stream. So, yeah, please, can you tell us about yourself, your Batman origin story, how you discovered R, where you started, your career, all
My
that journey.
Batman story. All right, I like that. Um, so I started pretty late actually. When I started art, really doing like learning how to draw and paint and wanted to be a concept artist, I was like 27 already.
Okay.
So and before that, I did art school back in the day, like when I was like really young.
Yeah.
And I did the first year, the first year when you learn like a bit about like everything. You
Yeah.
learn a
Yeah.
bit about architecture, a bit about
Yeah.
design, a bit about like logo and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did this, and I went to communication, visual communication.
Yeah.
So doing logo and stuff like this,
Yeah.
and I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so I just dropped. I never went to the degree or anything.
Yeah. First common point
And I
that we
went to
have.
do something else.
First common point
What?
that we have. Our school dropout.
Yeah. Sadly. So, looking back, I should have went to the degree at least, just to have degree, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it was. So I did totally something else. Totally forgot about art for years. And I had a friend who was architect. So I discovered a new job was 2D artist for architect. So I learned that. Um, so I learned Blender by myself, and I got hired by a first company, architecture company, and then the second one. So I did this for like a bit 2 years.
Okay.
Just learning Blender by myself, and it was like fun, and and some kind of like artistic too.
Okay.
But wasn't like what I was really looking for. But I didn't know what I was looking for, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was hanging out online on different like art program, try to get better. And I saw a couple of guys like doing speed painting, and
What
and also I was playing World of Warcraft at the time.
in which year was that?
It was so I was probably like 26 or something like this. So it was like 12 years ago or something. Or
Okay, so like 2010, something like that.
yeah, probably even yeah, 29, 2010.
Yeah, so concept art was not popular at all at the time.
Not really, no.
You
And yeah, I was playing World of Warcraft and I was looking at the art,
Yeah.
the artwork. I was like thinking to myself, oh, this is like really cool, this is amazing. And I don't know, it clicked like, oh, wait a minute, someone drew this. Like it's
Yeah.
actually a job to draw like for video
Yeah.
games. Like, who know? So I say, okay, I want to like to try this. So and I was like looking at these guys like doing speed painting and it just blew my mind. So I tried it, like I investigate to know how they were able to do this. At least like draw on a computer, right?
Yeah.
Because like it was nothing. It was not really popular like to see work on tablet
Yeah.
everywhere. Like right now, it's like
Yeah.
everybody knows about it. But back in the day, it was like I at least I didn't know about it. And so I bought like the first one was like it was even to Nintendo was like the old Wacom Graphia 2. It was like blue
Oh
and this
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
It was like all crappy and really hard to
Yeah.
draw
With
with it.
horrible stylus, very small
Yeah,
canvas. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I did this. I tried with this for a while. Then I bought like a real Intio one, and it was like way better.
Yeah.
I trained for about a year, building my portfolio and doing studies and stuff like this. And I emailed my portfolio to pretty much every company in France.
Okay.
I got two answer,
Okay.
and that's how I got my first like freelance gig. Um,
Okay.
it was pretty cool. Actually, it was like for triple A, and like the project itself was like pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
Uh, uh, so and I never really stopped. So
Do you
yeah,
have the
the
name of
first
the
few years were rough, but yeah,
Do you have the name of the project you started on?
yeah, it was a Curse Crusade,
Okay.
and the company was Kiloton.
Okay.
It's a French company based in Paris,
Okay. Okay. Nice to know.
um, and I think this is like the only RPG like medieval game they did
Okay.
ever. And they are mostly doing like I think they are doing like car games.
Okay. Nice to know.
Uh, but yeah, it was pretty cool to work on this. And yeah, and it was rough at the beginning because I started as freelance by design. Like I wanted to be a freelance.
Okay.
So I don't recommend this for like anybody that don't start a freelance. It's way too hard.
Yeah. Nobody knows
So
you. You don't know
yeah,
anyone. It's a huge
and
bet for any company and
you don't know
so
what you're
hard.
doing.
Yeah.
So you have nobody to like teach you, and especially at the day, it was like more than 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So um, like online video tutorial wasn't really a thing. It was hard to have workshop. I had no money anyway, so I couldn't really buy like any
Yeah.
workshop or stuff like this.
And I mean, there was almost no education at the time. There was few
Yeah,
forums. I don't even think Fengzu was
and
starting his
nobody knew
blog.
about concept art, right?
Yeah. I remember it was in 2028. I saw a documentary on a channel, a French channel called Game One, the channel talking about video games. And they had, for like 20 minutes, they had a small documentary. It was on Feng Zhu and on the other concept artists who did design on Star Wars. And they were still drawing with a pen and pencil and alcohol pen and stuff like that. It was not even called concept art. It's just, hey, I'm drawing, I'm designing the stormtroopers and stuff like that. It was so confidential at the time.
So cool. Yeah, Feng Zhu, I discovered Feng Zhu when I was actually teacher.
Really? Okay.
Very cool. Yeah. Because let me tell you how I got the job at Belco, because it's so
I think
funny.
you told me, but I don't remember how.
I was so I went back from Slovenia. I had a contract in Slovenia for a few months. And it
Okay.
was amazing. So I went back to France, and when you have like this period of time where you are like super hype about art and you want to do like a ton of stuff and go out and hang out with other artists. So I was like that. And so I came back to France, and next to my flat there was like this bar doing live drawing session. Right?
Yeah.
And it was like the last night because the bar was closing. So it was the last time ever they were doing this. So I said, okay, I have to go there. It's like right next to me. So I went there, and I went there with like nothing, no paper, no pen, no nothing, just like to see what was going on. So I walk into the bar, and everybody was like already drawing, and a couple of actors was like posing. So it was pretty cool. So I walked to the first guy I saw in the bar. And I say, okay, excuse me, can I borrow you like a piece of paper and a pen because I want to draw. I don't have anything. And he say, oh yeah, sure, yeah, go ahead. And so I borrow this and I go sit somewhere in the bar, start talking with some student, drawing, laughing. And at the end of the night, I come back to this guy just to like give his pen back. Right, and he saw my drawing, and I said, "Oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Are you like professional already?" I say, "Yeah, I am freelance concept artist." I say, "Okay,
Wow.
okay." And I go back to home, and the next day I receive an email from this guy, and this guy was a teacher in Belcourt École d'Art, and he was saying, "Okay, we are like opening a new concept art section. Do you want to be a teacher there?"
Wow,
I
that's
was
so
like,
cool.
"What?" So yeah, it was pretty funny. So
Wow.
this is how I got the job, just like going into the bar, basically.
Wow. Yeah, it was for the first year of concept art ever at
Yeah, it
Belco,
was the
right?
first year of the degree, like the first time I was doing it.
Yeah.
So I prepared a lot like for this because I wasn't feeling like really ready for it, to be honest. And I only had like 3 years of experience and no art education, basically.
Wow.
So I was figuring out, what can I teach and not be like over my head, right? So my thought was, okay, I will like focus on like the technical aspect of things and to really teach them how to use Photoshop and to be comfortable, and some tips and tricks I got. But didn't want it to like do too much demo, teach my style if I had any, or stuff like this, because I wasn't like sure I was doing the right thing, right? So I investigated a lot to grab different way of working and to give as much process as I can to student, and really like give them choice so they can make their own experiment.
Yeah.
So this is how I discovered like Feng Zhu.
Okay.
Just investigating for this class.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I did this for like 2 years, and I stopped because I wanted to take contract outside of France.
Yeah.
Which is kind of tricky if you have a class to teach every week.
Yeah.
So I went back to freelance, and I did like I kept growing like for a few years. I switched to a character concept in the middle of the way, because I started as more environment and concept artist
I
and
recall you were
props
doing
concept artist.
environment when you were still teaching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I wanted to learn more about like character because I wanted to be able to put character in my environment.
Yeah.
Who doesn't look like Mr. Potato, basically.
Yeah, especially at the time, it was always the guy with a cloak and a stick walking towards something useless.
With a flag. The guy with a flag.
Yeah, with a flag. And then you had some twists like it's a kite or something like that, but it's always the same guy. There's even a blog called
there is a blog somewhere, and a guy like gathered other image with
the
the guy,
adventure of the
same guy with
stick.
the same flag.
Yeah. He's living crazy adventures.
Yeah,
it has become a meme in the concept art community, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Yes. So this is why I learned like a bit more about anatomy and figure drawing, stuff like this, and I loved it. So I kept doing it. So I switched slowly to character design.
Yeah.
And I went back to environment later on. And what else did I do? I did my own game. I developed my own game.
Yeah.
So it started as a personal project because I learned how to program too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at teaching myself stuff. So I learned how to program. I knew 3D from my background. I know how to do. So I figured, oh well, I can do my own game, right? I can try at least. So I did my own project, and we found that with like cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it's Beyond the Void, cool. Right?
Yeah, and it got like some really good success, but in a niche, like for like people investing in cryptocurrency and
it was super niche at the time.
Yeah, it was like super niche, but we were the first PC video game in Europe, I guess, working with cryptocurrency, like with blockchain technology anyway.
Yeah, was that already considered like NFTs at the time?
No, NFT wasn't a thing really.
So you
it was like
you had your
really
own token,
the beginning
right?
of crypto, but yeah, we created our own token.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't. NFT came after, I think.
Yeah, NFT came late 2017, something like that. But it was not even gaming; it was just the CryptoPunks and then the cats. So it was not even related to gaming. I think the first gaming was Axie.
They were only the sorry. There were I will rephrase that.
Yeah, go on.
There are a few games existed working with blockchain technology before us.
Yeah.
So we wasn't the first in the world or anything like this. But the game who were online at this time were on mobile or web based. So, but no PC game, to my knowledge at least.
Yeah.
And for sure, no one on Steam.
Yeah. So definitely.
So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
It definitely bears some kind of historical value for the blockchain technology.
Yeah, probably. Probably, yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting to be the first at doing something.
Yeah, maybe in like 10 years it would become super hype again for the historical value, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely something not to sleep on, I guess. I mean, it's there. It's still on Steam, right?
Yes.
Wow.
It's still on Steam.
Cool.
I'm not sure of the status of it because it evolved quite a lot since I left.
Yeah.
So I didn't, to be really honest with you, I didn't play in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still on Steam, and the company I created still exists. So my brother ran it.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting stuff.
It's really nice to know that that's like a family business, something like that.
Yeah, because I started my game to do game, right?
Yeah.
And my brother was like, he was the one into cryptocurrency, and I said, "Oh, you have like to look at this technology, and we can like maybe found the game with it, and try to find a way to integrate the blockchain to gameplay and stuff like this." So we did this together, really. And my nephew and my niece came along the way to help us. So yeah, it was a family business for a while.
That's great.
And I was like game director on this for like 2 years and a half, something like this, and I stopped because it wasn't like, I realized it wasn't really my thing. I'm more an artist, and I want to like grow as an artist. I don't want to grow as a CEO or game director or something like this. So I figure, okay, if I want to be where I want to be, I need to like focus on art and not managing like people or a company or something like this.
Yeah.
So I just stopped and I went back to freelance. And I had the opportunity to work on bigger clients. I actually worked like with NetEase, Blizzard, with like, stuff like guys like this. So it was like really interesting.
Yeah.
And last year my goal was to work for a big company and some famous title because I needed the experience in house.
In a
I
studio,
was
yeah.
I was like freelance is the beginning of my career by design, right? But I got tired of it.
Yeah.
Like after 10 years, I was like, oh man, I want to be surrounded by other people.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so my goal was to find like a job like this. So I went to Ubisoft Paris, and like 2 months after, I got the call from like Blizzard. I was like, okay,
Sorry, Ubisoft. Priorities.
sorry, sorry, let's see you. But they were like amazing people, like Ubisoft Paris, like they were like really amazing artists
Yeah.
and really cool like human people. It was like super cool to work with them.
Yeah, Ubisoft in France is
Great.
generally filled with pretty nice people, and the atmosphere is all pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nice. So
Yeah, that's
then it
pretty
was
much it.
the call with Blizzard then.
Yeah. Like yeah, right after I started at Ubisoft, and it took like some time, like like every time like you are doing interview for big companies, you have like multiple interview and stuff like this. So it took some time to process all of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was Blizzard, so I wanted to work for Blizzard for years. So I was like, yeah, just
Yeah.
take me.
Previously, last time we talked, you told me that you were kind of putting yourself in front of that objective, like almost publicly.
Yeah, I not almost publicly, totally publicly
Totally publicly.
actually. Yeah, because I mean, already my portfolio like speak for itself in that regard. And I was like on some forums, art forums out there.
Yeah.
And on Polygon, for example, I did a post, and the title of the post was like, "Oh, I would get a job at Blizzard," something like that. So, and I show what I did, and people were like really supportive.
Yeah.
Okay, so they will call, don't worry.
Yeah, you put
Yeah,
yourself in front of that objective with a lot of accountability from the public overall. So it almost has like your internet reputation at stake.
yeah, something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want to achieve like something, it was like pretty huge for me. So I figured if I want to achieve this, I have to go like full speed on it. I
Yeah.
can't go like just a little piece by piece, and I have to really commit
Yeah.
to be able to like get this goal.
Yeah.
And so maybe for some people it's more like natural process, or like they were at the right time, the right moment, stuff like this. But I really worked for this, and I really like set up all my career for this. After a while, because I always wanted to work at Blizzard, but I didn't really knew how to get in,
Yeah.
and I didn't really knew what to do. Especially I didn't had any art teacher, so I didn't had any insight of the industry, how it
Yeah.
work, how you can get a job, and what kind of art you need to do, what kind of portfolio you need to have, stuff like this. So I had a lot of questions basically for myself.
Yeah.
And I think it was in 2018, I decided to be like more serious about it, because before that it was more like, oh, one day I really want to work at Blizzard, but I wasn't really doing anything to get there
Yeah.
actively. So in 2018, I said, okay, I will do this. And what I need to do? I need some contact, I need some portfolio and stuff like this. And I started to talk to people. And I talked to the first guy I talked to was Mark Brunet.
Okay.
who is really really cool.
Yeah.
It was before QuickBrush, so he had
Really?
this. Yeah.
Okay.
He had this little forum. It was it was called QuickBrush already, but it's nothing like the QuickBrush today.
Yeah, now it's a big platform for education.
Yeah. Now it's a platform for education. Back then it was like just a forum, basically.
Yeah.
And with Mark like answering question and like just a nice art community. And it was small, so it's pretty good because you're not like drowning in like amongst like ton of people like posting every day. Like you have like few of them, a few
Yeah.
artists, and so it's easier to know each other. It's easier like to get feedback. It's easier to give feedback to people too. Anyway, and Mark told me something like really obvious and really clever. And so he was looking at my portfolio at the time, and I had my portfolio was basically my freelance work. So what I did for freelance. So a lot of environment, most of them was like pretty realistic, with some photo bashing, some 3D, some like stuff like this. And he said to me, "Okay, I don't see in your portfolio the passion I see like when you post in forum for Blizzard. So like your portfolio doesn't reflect your goal, basically." I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm stupid. Okay. So I will rework my portfolio and make it like fit my goal,
Exactly.
which sound obvious, but I really didn't like thought about this, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, I need to, because I had a really stupid quote in mind. Like someone told me one day, "Oh, you shouldn't post personal work on your professional portfolio because it's not professional. You need to see your professional. You need to show
What?
your professional work." I
No.
was like, "Yeah, okay." And I was young. I was like, "Okay, maybe he's right." No,
No.
it's wrong.
It's such
Yeah,
a bad
and
advice.
yeah, and I actually recommend the opposite. Like post mostly, not mostly. You can post like professional work, nothing wrong with that.
Sure,
But
sure.
you should post what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's like a way better advice. You should post what you want to do,
Yeah.
because I discussed with I talk with many artists, and there's the same story coming over and over. Is the guy who like doing like cute kitty cat, and he never wanted to draw cute kitty cat, but for some reason he got his first job doing cats, and so he was
Then you
showing
are,
cats on his portfolio, and he got more jump for doing
and then
cats,
you
and
are
it's like
stuck into doing that over and over
miserable
again. Yeah.
doing this, and
Yeah.
nothing wrong about doing cats. Like if you like to do it, like just go
Yeah.
for it. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's once again it's like sound obvious, but no, if you don't really think about it, you're not really aware of this.
It's not obvious at all when you're a student. That's something that I've
Yeah,
seen a lot. I've been teaching in the last 5 years, and every time, most of students are completely oblivious to that. They don't realize that, if you want to get at this specific company, your work needs to reflect what they are doing already. Otherwise,
yes,
they have to train you, and they are not willing to spend the time and the money to train you to do that. They want someone that get it, that knows
yeah,
how to do that, and they assume that you like what you did in your portfolio. So if you show that you are doing exactly the same style as they do, they assume that you already like it.
yeah,
And on the contrary,
exactly.
professional work, it's not you, it's for someone else. It takes a lot of time for clients to ask you to do exactly what you are able to do, and still for them to ask you to do what you are good and what you like to do. If you are able to find that niche, you need to display that anyways.
Yeah, exactly. You can like show professional work if
Sure.
it match your art goal,
Yeah.
like your career goal or whatever you want to
Yeah.
achieve. So nothing wrong with like showing off like cool professional work. But yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first like really good advice I had. So thank you, Mark. And so I took this Blizzard thing pretty seriously, and I started building my portfolio over the year. So I was still working as freelance on different projects.
Yeah.
But like as soon as I had time to work on personal piece, I was making sure to fit like Blizzard art style.
Yeah.
And after a while, when I was able to choose my client, I was also making sure like what my client was matching like Blizzard in a way. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
very important.
Like if it was like for something like totally like a modern shooter, like super realistic, where I will have to do like ton of photo bashing stuff like this, I would just say no.
Yeah.
Because it's not what I want to do as an artist. Um, and he wasn't letting me like closer to Blizzard, so
Yeah. And as
I
you
was
say,
able to like
and as you say,
refuse them.
the more work you do towards a certain direction, the more clients will ask you to do that, because the network effect is real. And if you work for this company doing realistic stuff, other companies doing similar stuff will be attracted to you eventually.
Yeah, and you will get better
Yeah.
too, because the more you do something, like the better you will be.
Yeah.
Obviously. So yeah.
Wow. So you started working on your portfolio. I remember was it the time when you started doing like characters in 3D in ZBrush and stuff like that?
It was like a bit after. So in 2018, I was doing more stylized work, and I went to BlizzCon, like the first one I went.
True. Yeah.
So it was pretty cool because I had to meet. I was able to meet like some artists, really good artists, and some really good people in general. And it was like super fun to be there. Um, Actually, Anthony Jones introduced me to an artist, Rob Sevilla, who worked at Blizzard, and who is amazing. And Rob was able to really like help me out and give me feedback and really good advice along the way. So
Nice.
that was another person who really helped me to get where I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, you did the Anthony Jones mentorship, right?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty good mentorship for character
it was
design.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was what Anthony Jones taught me is how to say it. Basically, it was okay to fail, and I was good and fast enough. Because like if you go to the mentorship, like the amount of work you have to do, like it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
And I was working at the same time, so I was working full time and doing this workshop. So I had to do like ton of paintings every day. And at first, I was like, okay, I would just never be able to do it. Uh, Finally, I did it, and I even did like some 3D during this class and stuff like this.
Yeah, it was heavy
And
on
I
3D code at the time.
and since he was like really supportive and really pushing me like in the right direction, I was able like to realize, oh shit, I can do this. You know what I mean? It unlocked something in my brain.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I am free. Like, it's okay if I got it wrong the first time. I just have to redraw it, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really good workshop to have.
Yeah, with workshop, it forces you to step out of your comfort zone so much, generally, because you are trying new techniques, new tools. It was the same with Jama when I did the mentorship and we tried VR. I
Yeah.
never tried Gravity Sketch, and it was like biggest artistic revelation of my life.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, it's like I've always been crappy at 2D, and then out of the blue, you can do crazy stuff because you are using the 2D but in 3D, and you can draw, and you don't have to do the poly stuff and the retopology of ZBrush, and it's so liberating.
So cool. Yeah, I tried. I bought a VR headset, so I tried VR a bit. I was using Tilt Brush,
Yeah, it
but
was at the beginning, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't really able to do
Yeah.
anything, and so yeah. But I definitely want to go back to it at some point.
Yeah, try Gravity Sketch and Medium.
But
Gravity
the way I
Sketch
work in
is
3D,
incredible.
so where I use 3D and work in 3D right now, I think it's really close to what you do in VR because I don't care about like topology
Yeah,
or
same.
even how things are like built in 3D, right? I can just like basically it's like drawing in 3D
Yeah.
for me now. So and so I use 3D time to time. sometimes I use a lot of 3D, sometimes I use like barely not 3D.
Okay.
So it's really depending on my mood actually.
Okay.
Unless I have like really crazy architecture or something like this super complex with like crazy perspective, and I say, okay, I will never be able to
Yeah, let's do
draw
that in
this in
3D.
3D.
That's saving so much mental bandwidth.
Yeah, and so much time, because if you have to do this stuff and be accurate in 2D, like even if you can do it, like you will spend, at least I will spend like a lot of time doing
Yeah.
it. So like just doing in 3D, like just save a ton of time.
Yeah. All right. So you went to BlizzCon. You got some feedbacks on your portfolio, right?
Yeah. So at BlizzCon they had this portfolio review.
Okay.
So you can get in line and like people review portfolio. And I had really, really good feedback, really positive feedback actually. So I went in 2018 and 2019. So I met a ton of people. So it was pretty cool. I don't really know if it helped me get the job, but it was super cool to be there anyway. I was there for the announcement of Diablo 4, so it was really crazy.
Oh yeah, the thematic.
It,
Wow.
yeah, and you have like an energy in the room.
Yeah.
During BlizzCon, like you see the logo and stuff. Everybody were
Yeah.
like, ah! It was so cool. So yeah, it's a good time to like meet other geek,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I don't know if at any point I used like the relationship to get the job
mhm.
for say, but definitely I made really good friends and art friends, and they gave me really good advice
Yeah.
along the way and helped me out. So yeah, I really recommend. Every time I did a workshop or some event like this, I had something like really positive coming out of it.
Yeah.
So, and I barely did like any of it. So I really recommend like if you have like opportunity, just go to like workshop or like an event like this, or
Yeah.
just to meet people
Yeah. I'm saying
and
like
like be
all the
able to
time to
talk to
every student,
people.
it's like go to meetings. Everyone there wants to meet people, otherwise they would not come. So
Yeah,
everyone, all like 95% of people are super accessible, even big artists. You can ask for reviews, for advice. Of course, you need to be polite and subtle about that, not to be brute forcing that. But you make so many connections. You get so many invaluable piece of advice. You get new
yeah,
friends. You get new perspective. It also allows you to kind of bypass part of the hiring process, because instead of seeing just an email address, they see someone in flesh and bones. It makes
yeah,
everything so much easier too. Worst case scenario, you have big feedback. If you ask the proper question, like, hey, what can I do to improve on that in order to make it possible to work with you eventually within a few years? What do you advise me to do? And yeah, just your overall energy with everyone so enthusiastic about that is so great.
yeah. It makes you realize you're not alone.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's so
So
important
it's really
because
cool.
we have like cave nerds walking
Yeah,
in our room in front of a
especially
computer.
if you're a freelance, right?
Yeah,
You never go out.
yeah, you
Yeah.
realize you can be social with other antisocial people. Yeah, meetings are great. Have you been going to
Yeah,
other meetings?
not really, but if I think about it, like the first like art event was like this bar, and
Yeah,
I got a teacher job out of it.
yeah.
The second one was a workshop in Paris, and I made a really good friend there. Uh, I I had the chance to like see Greg Mullins too, which is one of
Wow.
the art idol of mine. So it was really cool. Mark Brunet was there too, so
Okay.
I got to meet him.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then I did a BlizzCon. I made a ton of friends there too. So yeah, I didn't like do a ton of it, but yeah, that's one of my plans for like the future, is, like doing more
Oh
of
yes,
these events.
especially now that you are in the US, there are so many
Yeah,
great
there's like
stuff.
so many opportunity. Like
Yeah.
here in South California, you have like ton of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like few days ago, like a few weeks ago, there was like this exhibit in I think it was Laguna Beach, with from Sid Mead. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, see,
Like,
okay, the
like the
designer,
old
yeah.
designer, he worked on Blade Runner and
On
stuff like
Patreon,
this.
yeah.
And I missed it like barely, but yeah. So you have like ton of this. I think in LA
Wow.
right now you have like an exhibit on Miyazaki.
Damn.
Later
Okay.
on we will have the Light Expo. You have like ton of events all around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah. Plus, there are so many great artists in LA.
Yeah,
It
you
will be
have
so
great
good for
artists
networking.
everywhere,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like there's a good amount here too. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I'm assuming you were pretty excited after BlizzCon, right?
Yeah, I was super hyped, and yeah, I was super hyped. So it gave me like really good direction. It gave me comfort in sense of okay, I'm heading the right direction. I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Because before that, I wasn't sure what I was doing. If it was like the right step, and since I did like the first portfolio review, and everybody was basically like, "Wow, you should work with us already." So they were like really supportive. They give me like really like good tiny feedback on this should be like wider stuff like this. But overall, they were like really happy with my work. So I was
Wow.
like, okay, I just need to be like a little bit better and do more, and just like keep at it, and eventually I would get there. And but something funny is when I started to let go, I got the job at BlizzCon, at Blizzard.
What do you mean?
Uh, because last year I was like, so I was working at Ubisoft,
Yeah.
uh, and the team was awesome. The project was really interesting, but it wasn't something I wanted to do as an artist. Because the art direction is like so specific,
Yeah.
and the art direction is good. I think it's like really interesting, but it's not something I want
It's
to
not yours.
really
Yeah.
do on the long term,
Yeah.
you know. So I figured, okay, in any case, like next year, so 2022, I think I would quit Ubisoft and do something else. Maybe do like another game of my own, something like this. And I got a call from Blizzard. So in either way, I was happy. I say, okay, if I get the job at Blizzard, perfect, it's my dream job. So just go there and live happy ever after. And if I don't, it's okay too. I would just like settle in France, buy an house, and just like do my own thing and be happy too. So I was like in this place where I was like really comfortable, like
Yeah.
during the interview, where I'm interested, but if I don't get it, not the end of the world for me either.
Yeah.
So
And you know you will have other opportunities eventually.
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, okay, and so I was really chill, probably, and I got the job. So yeah.
Is that something that always happened to you too? Like when you are not searching for a job or not trying hard, everyone wants you. And when you try hard, nobody answers your call.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it's more like the way you see things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you are like angry for a job, like you are like so desperate and you want to get something, and you're like every day feel like it's another like
Yeah.
weight
It's like an
adding to your
eternity.
shoulder.
Yeah.
When you are chilled and stuff like, but maybe it was like weeks until you get this job, but you didn't felt it
Yeah.
because you were like chill and doing something else. So you for you, your perception is everything is coming like more smoothly,
Yeah.
but it's more the way you are actually the way you feel, I think.
Yeah, I completely
um
agree. When you're looking desperately for something like your first job, something like that, you're also more affected by the refusals. You're getting rejected or ignored, and you start to
yeah
doubt way more because you have a weight on your shoulders. And when you are chill, you
yeah
don't care. It's like, never mind, I have another option, so doesn't
yeah
matter.
yeah, yeah. When you are older, you're more confident. for sure. But when you are younger, when you started out, it can be really stressful. And what I used to say to students was, don't care too much, just care enough. Which mean like, especially like when they are like doing paintings and they're like stuck on it and they're doing for hours and hours and don't say feeling like they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Just don't care too much. Like do another one. Don't stress it out. You have time, and everybody sucks at the beginning.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
rule. Like
Yeah.
we all sucked for a while. I still sucked at a ton of things. So don't worry about this. But care enough so you keep growing.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same when you are looking for a job. Like don't care too much. Do not be like overstressed about it, but care enough because you have at a point you have to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
So
you still have to go for the win, so you need to do your research. You need to have
I
a
can't
proper
hear you anymore.
portfolio. You need to place all the odds in your favor. So of course, when you really want something, but yeah, the main point is that if you fail, that's not the end of the world. Worst case scenario, you can try like 6 months later.
Yeah, sure.
And if they forget about you, nice, you start clean. If they remember about you and you have improved, that's a huge bonus for you.
Yeah, I failed to get a job at Blizzard for 10 years. So
you did apply for 10 years?
Yeah, but like I said at the beginning, I wasn't too serious about it in the sense of I wasn't working really specifically on my portfolio to work at Blizzard.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, it would be nice to work at Blizzard.
Okay.
So yeah, I did apply for 10 years, and not like regularly, but like time to time, I was like going back and say, oh, there's like a position, I will try it. So I got like this big of denial answer from Blizzard. I should like print them out and just like placed on them on my wall just to remember me.
Yeah, and that's a super nice story because it's the same as you said when people are comparing themselves to other people, especially now with social media, ArtStation, Instagram. We only see all the success. We don't see the huge pile of balls of paper and failed drawing that end up getting deleted, not even saved, because nobody is sharing them. But we have way more failures and destroyed drawing than success. Actually, it's part of the process, and we need to accept that. Yeah, everyone sucks at some point.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Even when you are a pro and you're super good, there are some drawing that sucks. That's fine.
That's why it's like super important to be kind to people.
Yeah,
and just to be supportive because yeah, everybody sucks at some point. And when I started, I was on this forum, so this French forum, and I was just starting out, and I wanted to do. So I was hyper hype about like speed painting stuff like this, and I wanted to do the cool painting, the knight under the rain with the sword, stuff like this. So I was doing that. I was failing at doing that, but I had so much fun. Which is really important too. So I was like discovering brush and putting like texture brush everywhere. I had no idea of the anatomy, no idea of phonation, composition, value, or anything. I was like just doing stuff.
Hey, can you give me your brush, bro?
I was the joker of speed painting. Like I just do stuff, and so I was super bad basically. And but people were like supportive, saying, "Oh, you are really productive" and stuff like this. But I wanted to have like some real feedback. And one guy came and he was like super harsh and super rude. And he basically said, okay, you suck and you will not going anywhere like this. You need to do with this pen on this paper. And he had really like specific idea of things I had to do. I said, okay, so you just broke my heart, but I will think about what you say to me. And this guy, so I looked this guy online. He was actually a teacher in Paris in famous art school. I was like, okay, so maybe he know what actually he's saying. So I did a private message to this guy and say, okay, I saw you were a teacher. Maybe you can give me like real good advice. Maybe can recommend me a class, something, so I can like learn better. And And basically the answer was like, no, you're too bad. You will never make
Oh,
it.
come on.
Just go away. Just go away. Leave me alone. And I think I became like a good painter just to tell this guy, okay, go, like, look at me now. What do you think?
Walking out of rage. You want to prove
Yeah.
something to someone.
So this guy was like basically like really rude, but he anyway, his advice was like, try to think about what you do. And this,
Which is a
so
very
it
good
was like,
advice in some way.
yeah, it was a really good advice in a really, really bad way
Yeah.
of like delivering it. Um, so never do that to any people. Like just be kind.
Yeah,
And this
just be
was what,
constructive. It's so important.
yeah, this one of my rules when I was a teacher. The first day I taught at Belco Ecole, I was talking with another teacher, and his advice was basically, oh, like the first day you have like to be the man, like you have to crush your student, like to show you are in charge and stuff
Yeah.
like this. I said, yeah, okay. So the first hour, I kind of tried that. I was like being like a bit more authoritative and be more like harsh to people. And after an hour, I was like, okay, this like doesn't really fit me at all. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be an asshole.
Yeah.
So 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 I went to the opposite direction. I never gave like anyone like bad feedback or something like this. I was trying always to be like constructive, and of course you can give like feedback and constructive feedback, but in a kind way.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be harsh to anybody
Yeah,
ever.
you can absolutely
Doesn't make sense.
rip a painting apart, but still being a nice person.
Yeah, and I think I never gave a bad grade to anybody, uh, except when it was obvious the student didn't really work on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you worked on it and you did the assignment, and even if you sucked, I say, okay, it's okay. It
Yeah.
you deserve like at least like the minimum grade, like the half grade,
The average. Because at least you
10
followed the
out of
rules and you
20.
did your best on that. Yeah.
I did what I wanted. What I was grading was um, the growth
Yeah.
over the skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I see you are learning the right way and you are like angry to know more, you deserve a good grade. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you draw like something like really crappy. It's normal. You're learning.
Yeah.
And some teacher were like they were considering like student like professional, and they were like
Yeah.
the grade were reflecting that. I was like, this like really harsh because it can
Yeah.
like just demoralize people. So
Oh
I'm
man.
not sure it's a good way to go.
I remember when I entered my first day in concept art class in Belco, one of the teacher, he first hour he barely introduced himself. He was like, "Okay, take a sheet of paper. You're gonna draw this. You have 1 hour. I'm gonna grab them and I'm gonna give you a grade for next week. If you have under 10, I consider you don't belong here." I was like, "What a douchebag!" It was
Yeah,
so
some teacher can be
stressful.
really really harsh.
Yeah, and yeah, it was pretty harsh. And I mean, as a teacher, I think you don't need to be harsh or to be yelling or and suggest
I
fear to students.
I,
You,
I
you
think
just need them to trust you, basically.
as a person in
Oh
general,
yeah,
in any situation, you don't need to be harsh to
yeah,
anybody.
yeah,
There is like no reason.
yeah,
And yeah, because I did like several job over the year before I went to art,
yeah,
and I had some really like bad uh, I saw really bad behavior in industry in general.
yeah,
And yeah, I thought, because I at first I was thinking, because it was the old way, like the job is hard, it has to be stressful, it has to be like blah 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 blah, and you have the hierarchy and stuff like this. And I think all of this is pretty much wrong.
yeah,
You don't have to be harsh to people. You don't have to accept a stressful environment either. You can work as good and not be stressed at all.
yeah.
So yeah, I think, but like mentality are evolving. And I'm talking like not about game industry, I'm talking like in general. So yeah, personal opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, especially us in the art industry, a lot of artists, they are very sensitive, they are very stressed, they have anxiety. We are not the best at getting social. And I have my little theory that do we become artists because we have problems, or do we have problems because we are artists? It's like the chicken and the egg, basically. But
Yeah.
artists have a lot of sensibility, and we need to be super careful, because who wants to have a company with only depressed and stressed people? It's like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Exactly.
You want them to feel good, you want them to feel happy doing work, because especially in art, because in art you're putting emotion in a picture, you want the public to feel that emotion, you want to contaminate them with that. And you can feel in some production, in some games or movies, that the people who produce that were burnt out, depressed, stressed, angry, and they don't do the best work that they could do in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, you have story like this like all the time
Yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think everything is evolving in the right direction
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
my opinion.
People are
So
becoming way more aware about mental health and
yeah.
stuff like that. Sure.
And I always personally had the luxury to refuse job. And I have this personality where I don't want to be around people that stress me
Same.
or that harsh.
Same.
So if I was in a job and I wasn't feeling it, I would just have quit.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about like consequences. Oh, we don't have a job anymore. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to like. I don't have to be around like people that are like harsh to me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. You in some ways you need to trust your guts at some point.
yeah, yeah,
Because
exactly.
sometimes you arrive at a company, at a place, in a job, and for whatever reason you don't feel it. You're like, oh, something's off.
Yeah,
You just need to
yeah.
trust
Don't go
that.
there.
Yeah. This happened to me
Don't
when
go
I
there.
when I got
It
my
can
first
vary
job.
from people to people.
Yeah. It can definitely vary on what stresses you, what tingles your
Yeah.
spidey sense. I really remember when I joined Ubisoft, it was my first day. I just dropped out from school and it was my first ever experience. After 2 hours, I was like, I don't feel it. I can't explain that. People are amazing. The company is amazing, but for whatever reason, I can't feel it. And yeah, I was right. I just had to leave basically at some point. It was just me. It was just me being so stressed by such a big company, basically.
Yeah, maybe wasn't ready for this assignment or something. No.
Yeah, no, it was just the atmosphere of being in like corporate world in some ways. It had nothing to do
Yeah,
with the company
got it.
itself or the people. It's just being in a corporate environment. I was like, that's too big for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely like different way to work as freelance and in-house. And I wanted to be a freelance, like it was my goal at the beginning. Like I want to work from home and to like be in control, in charge of my own hours and to be in charge on my project, stuff like
Yeah.
this. But like I said, like after a while, I got really tired, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be like around people and just be able like to talk to other artists on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and stuff like this. So yeah, really
Yeah.
happy where I am right now.
Yeah. Imagine you are very happy. You told me about the journey to move from France to the US.
Oh man,
Can you tell us a bit about that
it
crazy
was
adventure?
incredible. It was incredible, especially when so COVID didn't really help us at
Oh
all.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Because like everybody slowed down because of COVID, right? So
Yeah.
especially administration. So it took me a while to get my visa working, and I didn't wanted to do anything about the moving itself before I got my visa. I didn't want that to pack or anything like this before I got my visa, because if the visa was refused, I had to like keep the house, I had to keep like everything, the car and everything. But if the visa was accepted, I had to like basically like give everything away and prepare for moving to the US.
Yeah, you need to do that
So,
fast.
and yeah, exactly. So the visa was approved in December and we moved in January. So we had a month to basically like um to 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 decide what we wanted to keep, what we wanted to give away, and
Wow.
to pack everything. And yeah, so it was an amazing month. It was like super intense. It was super cool. And when we arrived to the US, we were so tired. Like I think for 2 weeks we were like exhausted
Yeah.
because of all of it, and plus like
The time
the
shift.
time, yeah, the time shift.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, but it's good here. Like it's it's really really chill where I am right now, and everything is a bit different, but like not too different, so you don't feel like it's like totally another world,
Okay.
you know. But we have to learn about like pretty much everything, like how to buy a car, how to drive, how to like we have to redo all our what we learned previously in France. We have to redo it all. So so yeah, it's a real journey for everyone.
Yeah. Even going to the grocery store, I guess, might be
Yeah,
completely
because
different experience.
at first you don't know what to buy, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the same brand, you don't know where to go to get your vegetable and to get your meat and to get your spice or whatever you want. So you have to explore like quite a bit
Yeah.
before you like settle in and feel comfortable and know your surrounding basically. But we started getting it. It has been like 2 months now.
Okay.
So we have an house now, so we don't move anymore. We know how to get our groceries, so everything is good.
Okay. Wow. So that's where you are now. I'm expecting you are super happy about that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, what I can tell you is I am waiting uh, to be able to like go back to the office
Yeah.
and just be on the campus with the orc statue and
Yeah,
everything.
make the selfie around the York statue and stuff
It'll be
like that.
amazing. I went there once.
Yeah.
I mean, I went I toured the office when I was at BlizzCon, so I
Okay.
wasn't hired yet. So I know the layout and I know what's
Okay.
in the campus.
Wow.
But since I'm in Blizzard, I went there once just to pick up my laptop.
Okay.
But it was like so bizarre because it was all empty because
Yeah.
everybody were working from home. So it was almost like a ghost town or horror movie. Like you have
Yeah.
this place, and you're doing the work, like there's nobody there. So it was a bit surreal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's lockdown culture. It turned some big towns into ghost town
Yeah,
almost overnight.
yeah. It was funny because during the lockdown, I was living in a small town in France, south
Okay.
of Lyon, and I saw, and I was still going to work because I had this little office in the village, and in the village we are like really really people, and it's like it's countryside, so you don't usually meet anybody in the
Yeah.
street anyway,
Yeah.
even without the lockdown. So it was like okay for me to go there, and I was alone in the office. So, but so on the way, so I had like maybe like 300 meters to go to the office, so it was like right next to my home, and I
Wow.
saw like ton of like wild animals like on the street, yeah, like a zombie movie,
Yeah.
You see the deer on the road, like
I
just like chilling, and say, yeah, hey man,
yeah, it was a bit the same in my village. I got stuck at my parents' home during the 2020 lockdown,
yeah,
and we are quite far away from town, so we are basically with social distancing all the time. So we are not at all affected by the COVID culture basically. And yeah, I remember when you were going out during the first lockdown, it was so silent. There was no car, there was no people.
Yeah.
You were
Yes.
seeing the birds on the road and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
were
it
hearing
was.
so many nature sounds in town. It was so
I
weird.
know a lot of people were really stressed about
Yeah,
this lockdown, and it was really hard for a lot of people. But personally, for me, I didn't really felt it,
yeah,
and it was like really quiet because we were on the countryside. We had a garden, so our
yeah,
kid was able to like play in the garden. I'm not really social anyway, so it didn't really change my life in this
yeah.
regard.
Same.
And the only thing it changed is I had like less and less client
Yeah,
because like everybody were like figuring out how to work from
yeah,
home. But it didn't really felt the lockdown, honestly. I had a friend who was like living in the city with two kids in a flat, and he felt it. It was
yeah,
like
yeah,
it was like really harder for them. But yeah, we were really lucky to be there just during this time.
yeah. It was quite the same. To me, the first lockdown was like, hey, hello world, welcome to my world, welcome to my daily world.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was kind of good to be outside of town, because when you are stuck in imagine you are in Paris or London in a very small apartment, you cannot go
Yeah,
outside, you have one kid
you're
or
going
two
crazy.
in like 30-meter square, you are going mad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really hard for a lot of people.
yeah,
And like even like for economy, I know like people like lost their job and stuff like this. So it wasn't
yeah.
really a good thing.
Even in the
So I'm
industry,
really grateful I was able to like just chill out of it.
yeah, even in the industry, it took like 4 to 6 months for the industry to kind of adapt. But at the
Yeah.
beginning, most of the company were like, okay, we don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
We need to transfer all our workflow, all our server
Even
to
if you know what
outside,
to do,
basically.
you have to send like laptop to people. You have to like organize
Yeah,
all your process to work remotely.
yeah,
So it takes, even if you know what to do, it takes like a long time.
yeah,
Especially like for big company, you have like to manage all like hundred and thousands of people.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't easy for the company either. I
y-
bet.
Yeah, and imagine you are working like VFX, you're doing like huge simulation that takes hundreds of gigabytes of cache, and you are in the middle of nowhere with a shitty connection. There's no way you can send that to the company.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty rough, but the company kind of adapted well, and eventually it kind of proved the company that you can work like 80% remotely and it doesn't that much affect the productivity. At least now.
Yeah. I think like a lot of company want to in some extent they will keep like work from home like part of it.
Yeah, at least it's an
So
option.
because I feeling it will be like really weird for people just to go full time at work like they used to.
Yeah,
Now they are used to work from home also.
yeah,
So I think like the all the industry would change because of it. Like it
yeah,
would change the world, like basically, the way we work and the way we see work in general.
yeah. Do,
So we will see where it led.
yeah. Do you think it will allow for more people to work on like big companies from a distance? Like imagine you have people from like Eastern Europe, they want to work for companies in the US, stuff like that. Do you think it would be possible to
Um,
kind of close the gap? Because one of the big
yeah,
problem
because you mean
is
because
the visa
people
problem.
are more used to work with like remote people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe it can help, but like from a country to another country, you also have like a ton of like rules
Yeah,
and laws and
yeah.
visa and stuff like this. And I feel it's always harder to work with people outside of a country
Oh yeah,
because of the of all the laws and
yeah,
all you have to do. So I'm really not an expert to answer this. I don't know if it would change a lot in this regard. Probably in the mentality of people,
yeah.
because indeed, like people are more used to work remotely, so it would be easier for them. But yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of stuff. And even though you told us that for now you're not planning on moving anywhere else, do you have any plans for now, even not related to art? Like for
Get
now, the
good.
future?
My plan is to getting good
Okay, at art or anything
at
else?
art. At art.
Okay,
That's pretty much my plan. No, I just achieved like the big goal of my career I made for myself,
yeah,
and now I'm here. So I right now I just want to settle in and
okay,
just be here and just settle in the US and be good at what I'm doing. And actually, I'm I change a bit my schedule to bring back studies and stuff like this in my daily routine.
okay,
Things I forgot for a while, to be honest.
okay.
So I am going back to that because I feel now I have to like keep growing, you know, and be better and better and better.
Yeah,
And so yeah,
th-
just evolve.
that's so interesting because a lot of time on stream we have been talking about, hey, you have your dream job. Imagine you achieve it. What are you doing now, basically? And
Yeah,
judging from what you say, it seems to have motivated you to work even harder and to get back to grinding even more, right?
yeah, because I feel like there's this weight I don't have anymore on my shoulder. Because
Yeah,
before that, I had this like bizarre dream in mind. I was working from it and
it was kind of
for it,
consuming
and
you, right?
yeah, it's not in a bad way.
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, it was like driving me
Yeah,
and pushing me to be better. But no, I don't have this. I don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore, even to myself, because
yeah,
I did it. So okay, I'm done. I can do something else. So I have more brain cell available to like learn new things. So that's my goal. It's just to learn new things.
wow. Bouncing on that, was that kind of hard for you to kind of realize you made it once you got the call and the final answer from Blizzard? Has there been
Yeah.
like a small lag between you actually getting the job and you realizing what you have just done and accepting that, like, hey, I made it. I have not stolen that to anyone. I'm legit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, I still don't realize it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, time to time I'm like, oh, okay, I did it. Like I'm senior. I'm senior artist at Blizzard. I was like, oh, okay, holy shit. And 5 seconds later, I'm like, okay, go back to work and just going through my day.
You need to
And
wake up and
yeah,
repeat
so
that in front of the glass every day, in front of the mirror.
yeah, and the thing is, I got tired, but like I was waiting for the visa, so I was like the basically the artist of Schrödinger for
Yeah,
a
you don't
while.
believe it till you are there,
Yeah,
basically.
I didn't believe it until I have the visa because the visa can be refused like for
Yeah.
any
Oh yeah.
reason, right?
Yeah.
So until I had the visa, I didn't really wanted to believe it, too hard because to not be crushed if the visa was refused. And the visa got accepted, and we had like so much things to do to prepare for the move, and like so much stuff to care of. And we have also one son, so he's like 4 years old. So it takes a lot of my brain cell and my time. So I didn't really have the time to process,
Yeah. You're busy,
before
basically.
yeah, and my plan was to like go back to like study and doing like some personal artwork before I worked to Blizzard, just to get back in Photoshop, and because I didn't drew like for like 2 months or something like this, or 3 months before I started at Blizzard. So I
Yeah.
figured before I start I should like draw a bit, just like to not be like too rusty.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time to do any of it.
Wow.
So first day I was like, okay, I didn't draw for 3 months. I'm good. Let's do it. Yeah.
Wow. Whew. That's that's a lot of stuff. Speaking about the visa before jumping to the questions, um, I mean, it's known that the US visa is very hard to get.
Yeah.
So would you have any tips for artists willing to get it, aside having the company give it to you?
Yeah, not really. But really far from an expert. From my personal experiences, try to read as much as possible to have don't wait for answer, basically. Like try to get the information by yourself at every step.
Okay.
And yeah. And if you are standing out, also don't forget to keep documentation of what you did, because you're gonna need it if you apply for a visa one day.
Yeah.
So if you do something, if you work for someone, or like always like keep something that can prove like you work for this or you had this degree or stuff like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically my advice. But I'm like, it's one experience. Like you have like ton of different type of visa, ton of country, ton of like experience, because everyone is different. So I don't think there's like one rule you can
Of
follow and
course,
we
yeah.
guarantee you a visa.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah. Do you
Keep
think
everything.
you mentioned previously in the stream that you kind of regretted not having graduated from art school? Do you think that that degree, even if it's like a random school in France, would that help you to smooth the process to get the visa?
I have a degree now.
Okay.
Because I figured way before I applied, way before I got the job at Blizzard, I figured if I want to move to the US, it would be easier if I can prove that I have a certain amount of education,
Okay.
a certain level. So I did a degree based on my experience.
Okay.
And but then like COVID came, and there was some shift in the school, so I had to wait like for a long time before I was able to get my degree actually.
Okay.
But now I have bachelor concept art, but like
Okay.
like from last year or something.
Congrats.
And I worked for 10 years before that. So yeah, it definitely helped. It doesn't really matter. I think if you are in the US, you don't really like, you're fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to apply for a visa, yeah, the degree can matter.
Yeah.
It can definitely help. And I think like art school in general can definitely help on some regards. Like, because people like art, I heard a lot of people like dismissing art school lately. Like you, and it's true. Like you don't need as much as you needed them before, because you have like online art school, you know, all this stuff, and you can learn by yourself and all this stuff. And which is true. But I think what give an art school is time and surrounding. So you have like time to work really just on learning and being good. And you have like you are surrounded by other people who are in the same situation as you. So you have like other students, and at time to time you have a good teacher. So yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, a degree can always help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't dismiss it. But if you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I made all of my career with no degree, so.
Yeah, not having a degree is not the end of the world. It basically almost no company will ask you about the degree.
Yeah.
They very rarely ask you that. I remember when I got my call at Ubisoft, the first question the HR asked me was like, so you got a degree at Belcourt? And I was like, no, I actually quit to finish being a self-taught. And she interrupted me like, no, that's better. We prefer self-taught artists. That's good. I was like, what? Really?
That's funny. Yeah, I think it can help. It doesn't hurt to have a degree.
It helps for the
regard.
administration,
but you
definitely.
have like so much education out there available now. When I started, we barely had any tutorial at all about digital painting, about Photoshop, about anything. So it was really hard to like find any information. But now you're looking at like QBrush, you're looking at Gnomon Workshop, you're looking at like there's ton of
Brainstorm,
resources out
Learn
there.
Square, all those
ArtStation
guys.
Learning, yeah. So you can have like access to basically the best artists in the world and get learning from them. So it's amazing. Like I really, even if you are a student in an art school, like take workshop with like some top tier artists in the industry, it's super valuable.
Yeah, and also if you don't do that, other artists will do it, and they will get ahead of you. So in some way,
So,
the with all the education available now, the bar is so much higher than when we started.
yeah, probably yes. But we are. It's because we have like better education, I think.
Yeah.
Like, and we have better tools.
Yeah.
Now we have like 3D is really more accessible.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was 3D artist for architects was like, for me 3D was really technical. That's because I got away from it like for years and didn't really wanted to go back to it. But eventually I did. Because of Anthony Jones actually. He told me like he was like messing with I think it was
3D
Code.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, man, you should try it. It's really easy. It's not like technical at all. And say, okay. I tried it and I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. And I went to ZBrush. I was like, this is more fun. And I went back to Blender. I was like, oh, Blender is awesome. I was like, okay, let's put a little 3D in there.
Yeah. I mean, now with technology and the graphics card, you have like photorealistic rendering instant out of the box, while like 10 years ago to have like a barely realistic stuff, it was taking a metric ton of time, and it was very technical.
When I was rendering architecture picture, it was
you told me about that.
Yeah, it was. I had to wait for night before I get like my rendering, and so I had to keep my PC running through the night. And sometimes the ladies in charge of like cleaning the building was just like disconnecting everything. So I was in the morning. I was like, "Where's my work?
Why is that computer still running? Let's save the planet and shut it down."
I had to do like a crappy rendering and try to denoise it. I was like painting over it to try to have something like barely decent to show. I was like, damn, that's crazy. So yeah, and now it's like 10 second like cycle duet for you, and it's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, evolves.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change. Like a tools is a tools. You still need the same knowledge. You still need the same fundamentals. Like it's the same thing when we discovered like oil painting.
Yeah.
And like every time there is like a new technology, people are feeling like the one using it are cheating or something like this.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just a tool at the end.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You can do concept art with Play-Doh.
Yeah.
If you're good at it.
Yeah.
Yet nobody cares.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's you, but I had a student who asked me, and he was in 3D, and he wanted to do concept art. So maybe it's you. And he was asking me, say, yeah, I'm doing 3D, but they say I can't use 3D to concept art.
That's definitely me. That's definitely me.
And I can't really do like photo bashing. I was like, no, nobody cares.
That's
like do whatever you have to do. I think as long as you get the work done, you can use anything.
That's definitely me. Yeah. For the next 2 years in concept art, they were telling me I was cheating using 3D and photo bashing. And I was like, why? I'm doing it faster. My perspective, my lighting is good, at least. And see, I don't have dark circle under my eyes because I'm sleeping, which the other people in the class are not doing. So why would I not do that?
Yeah, you can have a you can choose to not use 3D by choice.
Yeah.
Or I choose to not use photo bashing by choice. I don't want to photo bash.
Yeah.
I can do it because I did it before, and there's nothing wrong with photo bashing. I just don't want to do it because I want to be able to paint, and I like to paint. I don't like to photo bash. It's more fun to me to paint. That's why I don't use it.
Yeah.
And 3D, I don't really mind because I feel like it's like bit like sculpting, so it's like really artistic in a way. So I don't feel like overwhelmed by the like technical aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on my fundamentals to be able to not use it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling if I can just like paint something and don't need any 3D and get the same result in the same time, I will be a better concept artist in general, because I will just be able to like to draw it.
Yeah, you will rely less on just a tool that if you don't have it for whatever reason, you cannot work on.
Yeah, because like honestly, if I have to do like a ton of figure right now, if I have to do like a character, I'm fine. I can just draw it. I can just paint it, and no problem with that. If I had to do like a simple pose, I'm fine. If I have a bunch of character in perspective with different pose and a lot of dynamism and like crazy perspective and architecture around it, yeah, I will need 3D for that. Because it will be like too much work for me. I can probably like do it in like without 3D if I really focus and I do my construction line and stuff like this, but I will spend like way too much time to do it. I can just do it in 3D right now. But I'm working toward this goal to be able to do this the same thing without 3D, so I can just like be faster at iterating ideas, basically. But it doesn't really bother me to use 3D right now. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm dependent of it either.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as you said, it's just a tool, and you can choose to use it or not if you are willing to bear the consequences of that. If you're not using 3D and you can still be fast enough, fine. If you decide to not use 3D and you are not fast enough, that's another problem, I guess.
Yeah, but like it's 3D is an advancement, right? Because you have to learn it, and if you learn like a traditional way, if you learn in traditional way, it can be like really hard for you to learn 3D.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't. It's not a general rules like 3D is faster than drawing or painting. It's not.
No.
It's just like a different way to work.
Yeah, it depends completely on what you are doing. Same with photo bashing. If you are working on crazy photorealistic stuff, of course you're gonna use photo bashing.
Yeah,
but
because you will spend like way too much time painting everything.
Yeah, because it will save you time. But the only thing is, it was what I faced in school and what you mentioned with when every time there is something new, people are calling that cheating, unfair, and whatever. And it's basically people refusing something easier and faster just out of ego, as if you had to suffer to be a true artist, quote unquote true artist. And the truth is,
but
if you pixel paint everything and you are good with that, fine, but nobody cares.
Yeah, I think like just people just don't express what they want the right way. What I mean is, like you say, like people are like accusing people of cheating because they are using photo bashing or whatever, and they want to like suffer to get the painting done. But the thing is, I think what they want is just to learn.
Yeah.
And just, but there's like a problem, especially in France. I feel like this problem accepting you're not good at something. You know what I mean? Like when you're starting out, of course you're not really good at anatomy. Of course you're not really good at figure drawing or architecture or designing stuff. It's normal. It's okay because you're learning. And even I still learn like every day a ton of stuff. I'm not good at everything.
Yeah.
So I thought I stuck at some stuff and I try to work on it to get better. So it's easier to say, oh, this guy is cheating because he's used photo bashing, instead of saying, oh, I can't paint this because I'm not good enough yet.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem to not be good enough yet.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of people we have to change our mentality as teacher and student, just to accept like failing is a part of learning. Like I was looking at my son when he learned how to walk. When you learn how to walk, you fall all the time. Like you do one step and you fall.
And then you learn how to do the next
And he was
step.
really resilient because as soon as he understood how to get up, if he had to do like 1 meter, he was like getting up, like do one step and like fall again.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And now he can now he's 4, so he can just walk everywhere. He can run, he can climb and everything. And but he started as when he started, it was falling all the
Yeah.
time. So it was a good reminder that when you learn something, you suck at it and you don't feel good about like it because like you don't like to suck at something.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to be good, you want to be like this cool artist and do the cool night with the sword in the rain and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So you just have to accept, okay, I will suck for a while and it's okay if I don't know that. What's it's important is be able to look at your work and say, okay, this doesn't work. Why? Okay, I suppose it's because I don't know enough about anatomy.
Yeah.
Don't know about anatomy. Go back. Okay, this still stuck. Why? Okay, maybe it's because I don't really know how to render it. Right? I don't know how to render metal, so this like knight doesn't look like anything. And you assess something like, oh, it doesn't work because, and you test your theory. And usually when you fail at something, there's like 2 reasons. It's either lack of knowledge or lack of practice.
Yeah.
And the good news is it's really easy to fix. It just takes times.
Yeah.
Because lack of knowledge, you just like pick a book and learn a bit more about anatomy or watch a podcast or doing a workshop. Okay, you know a bit more. And lack of practice, okay, but every day you do like figure drawing, right? You will have like ton of practice.
Yeah.
And you will get better over time. Just have to realize it takes time, right?
Yeah. And you can go even further than that because every time you fail, you should be happy about that because you have an opportunity to learn something.
Yeah.
If you just take the time to accept that, okay, this is bad, I need to accept that I messed up, then you look at your work, you reach why you failed, and you get the lesson out of that, and that's how you improve.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's probably very, very ingrained in the French culture, but teacher, even when we are young, they're kind of blaming students for failing instead of explaining to them, hey, it's okay, it's part of the process. It's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you can learn out of it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like French thing or not. But yeah, I felt that way too. So yeah, it's okay to fail.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just suck for a while. You will get good anyway.
Yeah.
After a while.
Great. Shall we move to the question from the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, let me check that. Wow. Question from Asia. Would you advise someone today to become a concept artist by knowing the industry, including its advantages and disadvantages?
Ask me that again. What's the question?
I think the question is because now you know more of the positive and less positive aspect of the industry, will you still recommend someone to become a concept artist today? If that person wanted
sure.
to do that.
If it's sure. If you want to be a concept artist, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, there's no like, oh, it's too crowded and there's like no job anymore. It's not true. There's job and it's not that too crowded. So, and maybe along the way you will learn art and you will discover like another thing. Like, you will like this more and you will not become a concept artist and be like, I don't know, VFX guy or like a technical artist or stuff like this. I saw people like change like career all the time.
Yeah.
So just go for it. Yeah.
My main advice is to always follow what you want to do now.
Yeah.
But accept that if at some point your taste or your desire change, you need to accept that it's just you getting more mature and figure out more precisely what you want. Was that the question, Asia? Let's move to someone else in the meantime. From Estonian Hyena. How have you experienced burnout and how have you managed it?
All right.
That's a dark question.
I have a cycle So usually I burn out. I work like a madman for 6 months, then I burn out.
Yeah.
And I rest for 6 months, and
Yeah.
I work again like a madman for 6 months. But I don't burn out like really bad, like I'm in my bed crying and stuff like this. It's just like for 6 months, usually I work, like I'm super motivated. So I learn a ton. I work at night. I'm doing workshop. I'm looking at videos. I'm doing ton of stuff outside. And after a while, I feel like so exhausted. I think my brain need to rest for a bit. So I just do my job, and I can't do anything else at night except like gaming and just chilling and do
Yeah.
something else. And um, I learned to accept that, and I know it's the way I'm functioning. And but like I said, it's not like burnout, like I'm crying or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like at a point I don't feel the motivation to learn anymore.
Yeah.
So I just like need to do something else. So this is my experience of burnout. I never really burn out. Like I did kind of after Beyond the Void, because I had so many things to manage, and it was I was feeling wasn't what I wanted to do, and I kind of burn out at this time. And this is why I quit, because I needed to like think about it and say, okay, what I should feel amazing. I did my own project. I did it. We have like money to do it. I'm guest director on this. Why I don't feel amazing? So when I was thinking about it, I said, okay, I just want to be an artist. I don't want to be like in charge of any
Yes.
any people.
Yes.
So when I realized that, I said, okay, I need to quit. So I quit, and I did something else, and everything was good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The common point I see in your two examples is that for whatever reason you were kind of not listening to yourself, right?
I always listen to myself.
Oh, okay.
I
Because
always listen to myself. Like in this example, I went like a bit too far. I
okay.
should have listened to myself a bit before, but
Okay.
since it was my project, was like family things, I wanted to push a bit forward. And sometimes you have to push yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, of
You
course.
don't have like to die at work either,
Yeah.
but you have to push a bit to see where you can go.
Yeah.
But at some point, if you're feeling it's not right for you, just stop.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Yeah, yeah. But by not listening to yourself, it's like when you start to crunch and walk a lot, and you still have a tiny voice like, "Hey, I should rest a bit," but I love what I do so much. And at some point, you pay the price eventually. That's why you get a bit
Yeah,
tired.
yeah, yeah. But I listen to myself for like the big stuff
Yeah, for the
usually.
decision and stuff like that, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Myself and my wife. But
that helps. See, guys,
that
third
helps.
person we have interview, and always be with a nice, benevolent surrounding around you. So important.
Yeah, yeah. I I would never be able to have my career and did anything in my life without my wife, honestly, because she
See,
was like
third person
so
like telling
supportive.
that.
Like for so long, I was broke with no money. I was bad at art, and I was like keeping at it, and she was like so supportive for years. So yeah, thank you, wife.
Yeah. See, third person saying something similar, guys. Be with a nice surrounding.
Yeah.
Next question from Easy. How difficult do you think it is to become a concept artist today? And do you have any advice for getting into the industry?
I think um, I think it's kind of difficult. It's definitely more difficult than other job to be a concept artist. Um, because you have first thing, you have a lot of competition, and you don't have like a ton of position opening.
Yeah.
But it's really not impossible either.
Yeah.
My advice to get into the industry is just start small and get a job in house.
Yep. Get the
Starting
first
as
line in the
freelance
resume.
is way too hard.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Just
you
avoid.
can do it, but yeah, just don't do it.
Prepare yourself to
Yes,
suffer.
I think it's way better to start in like small studio or something like this. Don't look too much at the big guys at first, because that's what I did, and it was kind of bad. Like I was looking at Ubisoft and Blizzard and Riot. I was like, I want to work for this big company. And but in the meantime, you are working for this smaller company, and you kind of dismiss them because they are not like your dream job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like bad behavior. And I realized that soon enough. So okay, I shouldn't do this and take this seriously and just like be 100% on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, start small. Like you can learn from anything and everybody, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
And stay there at the end too.
Yeah.
So even if you feel like your coworker is not like up to speed or your art director is not up to speed, like check yourself because like you can learn from these guys.
Yeah.
100% sure.
Yeah. And speaking about
Yeah.
big companies, most of them are not hiring juniors right from the start.
Yeah, this like the big paradox. Like
Yeah.
you have to get experience to get to work, and well, how do I get experience? Find a job. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
In-
So yeah, work and portfolio is important too,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
for us
Oh, yeah.
artists. So make sure your portfolio is reflecting what you want to do.
This. Nice. From Paradox, what are the most common red flags you see in a portfolio today?
The most common what?
The most common red flags, like the portfolio killers, basically.
Red flags. Red flag. I didn't look at portfolio for recruiting in a while, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I think there's not really red flags. Usually, when I dismiss portfolio, I said just either it's not like good enough, it's not like up to, it doesn't have like the minimum industry standard level yet.
Yeah.
And I think you need to work a bit more on fundamentals.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. And the other reason is it doesn't fit the project.
Yeah.
Like the guy is good enough, is decent at drawing and painting, but his style or what it does and it's not fit the project. Like if you are working on a medieval game and this guy is only drawing tanks, right? You will not hire this guy because you don't need someone who love to draw tanks. You need to hire someone who love to draw medieval stuff.
Yeah.
So if the portfolio doesn't match, usually you don't hire the guy.
Yeah.
So it's not really red flags, unless you have like some really like creepy portfolio with like really weird thing in it, and say, okay, this guy is weird. But I did not really know that anyway. Yeah.
I've done an article about 8 different portfolio killer. May I ask you to comment on each of them very fast?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the first one is fan art in a professional portfolio.
I don't think it's a red flag or portfolio killer.
Okay.
Honestly, it depends how you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, about fan art. If you want to work at Riot, for example,
you need to have the style, of
or
course.
Blizzard, or like any of the big company like this.
Yeah.
You need to prove. You need to prove them you can do the work, and you need to prove them you are passionate about whatever they are doing, right? So doing a fan art is okay as concept artist as long as you do something new.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if you bring your own twist to it, like you want to apply Blizzard, you do Sylvanas, but in a different way,
Exactly.
and everybody see it and say, oh, this is really cool, stuff like this. So you still show you are passionate about the project. You did a fan art, so it's pretty cool to do fan art. But you did your job as concept artist. You bring a new idea.
Exactly.
And your fan art is like top quality.
Yeah. That's the moral I have at the end of my 8 red flags. It's just a lack of creativity in some way. And
yeah,
as long as you
you
bring
do
something that's
the
good.
exact same things they are doing and just copying what they are doing,
exactly.
It has value to you because you are learning something. It's not really great value on your portfolio.
Yeah. The second one is what I call
opinion.
but I completely agree. The second one is what I call the Gumroad nerd. So like every piece of your portfolio is from a different tutorial, and you know which tutorial it is. Like, okay, this one is from Anthony Jones. This one is from 809. We have seen that thousands of times.
Oh, yeah, it just shows you are learning, and yeah. Red flag, yeah, maybe, because you present if you do this, you present yourself as a student.
Yep, it screams student. That's just that.
It screams student, and nothing wrong about learning. Like I said, I'm learning like every day, and I'm still learning now. But you want to present yourself as a professional. Oh,
Yep.
I can do this job.
Exactly.
I have the skill and knowledge to do it.
Yep.
So hire me.
Yep.
So if you present yourself as I'm still learning, yeah, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
I think.
Next one will be a portfolio with just studies, because there's no creativity. I mean, studies are fine in a portfolio, but not just all of that.
Studies are fine in a portfolio, but as concept artist specifically, your first job is to bring new ideas.
Yeah.
Right? You are an idea generator.
Yeah.
So if you can't bring any new idea, don't be a concept artist. Do something else. Like you can be an illustrator. I don't say like illustrator have no idea or anything like this, but the illustrator job is more about like doing like a beautiful painting.
Yeah.
It's not too much focus on doing something new. Concept artists, you need to have like some kind of decent level in painting and drawing, but your main job is doing something new, like bringing something new to the table and give new ideas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Next one will be something I call the Notice Me Senpai. You imitate big and famous artists without their skills.
Yeah. Once again, it can be really good to do a study from other artists when you're learning.
Yeah, to understand what they do, of course.
But you don't want to be a cheap version of your art idol.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's like, oh, damn, that's another Anthony Jones wannabe. Why would I hire that person? Why can I hire Anthony Jones?
Yeah.
The next one would be like a trendy portfolio, but too like let's say you see a big airdrop on The Last of Us, you do a Last of Us 2 artwork, but 6 months later, nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't think that's really an issue, because something like even like the hype about like the lastest things who came out, the lastest game or the lastest show, stuff like this, and everybody's like doing artwork about it. If it stay in your portfolio, it's like nothing wrong in it, as long as you have still like concept artwork in your portfolio.
Creativity again.
Yeah. So I don't mind if I see like fan art of like some whatever show they liked in the portfolio. If it's good, I don't mind it, as long as I can see like the guy is like creative and he has the skill to do the job. I don't mind it.
It's so great to have you nuance those points. So great. Next one would be the work that is not grounded at all, like the I want to be 100% original, so I don't take any reference.
Yeah, take reference.
Yeah.
Don't question yourself, just grab some reference.
Otherwise, everything looks alien, you don't understand what it is. Again, as a concept artist, you need to make sure that people understand what you want to convey.
Yeah, and there's like nothing really new. It's only iteration of something existing. So, yeah.
Then it's just some character and environment scene, so I can skip on that. It's like you design only you are calling yourself a character designer, but you only do T-pose, no emotions, nothing. And
yeah,
it's part of the job, but
it's part of the job. And at the end of the day, you will not really pose your character if you're like a modeler in the industry. But if you want to sell yourself and you want to sell your work and say, oh, look, there's like this great character I modeled, but your character is like this with like crappy light and it doesn't really, I'll say that. It will look way better if you can just pause it and do like quick light setup.
Yeah.
It will value your character, your work you did way more than like just standard typos.
Yeah. And your character will have way more charm. It's like you see those old Disney character sheets when they have procs, they are already interacting. You can already help the art director, the project manager to project his imagination in the character and imagine how it will feel in some ways.
No,
and
exactly. And you have to convince like the art director, they want to work with you. They want to work with you basically. So if they only see like a character with no soul, basically, it doesn't really. Even if they can assess as professional, oh, this guy is good because like this topology is right and this texture is good. If you have like another guy who does exact same job of you, but his character are posed and with the right lighting, they will look tremendously better than yours.
Yeah.
So just like,
just about the presentation to sell the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
And same with the environment. It's like only spiky mountains in half pipe with like one big tower, one guy walking. It's like,
it's kind of the same. It's like creativity. What do you bring new to the table?
Exactly. It's
so you have to understand something. When you see like your favorite concept artist doing a spiky mantle with a one tower and a guy with a flag, he doesn't care because he doesn't need a job and is good enough to make this amazing anyway. And it's not his portfolio, it's just he doing this for fun. He's just doing this for fun for himself at night, just to like relax. Right. So there's difference between this guy and the student who does this, and it's the main piece of his portfolio. And one thing people tend to dismiss, and it's really important, is story. The story in a concept is, I think, way more important than painting or drawing in a way.
Yeah, totally agree.
So if you can like give some kind of like emotion and some kind of like thinking, like add a sparkle of imagination in the head of like whatever is looking at your portfolio, it's way better than like just doing like something like really great canyon and really beautiful painting, but like nothing there basically.
Yeah, especially today when, as we said, with 3D and all the new tools that we have, having a crazy good rendering is not that hard anymore.
Yeah.
So now that technique is kind of quote unquote easier to achieve, the only thing remaining is storytelling and the idea itself. So that's even more valuable now.
Yeah. Exactly. A good idea goes a long way.
Yeah. There's like a 2-hour conference from Shadi Safadi called Concept Art is Dead. It's from 2018 and he's explaining exactly that.
Oh, yeah? Okay. I will check it out.
Next one. Question from Kapu. Shout out to you. She's working on Arcane. Hey Maxence, after putting so much effort into your concept art dreams, where do you find the strength to always stay inspired to do your art today?
Because my dream was my career dream. I'm not where I want to be as an artist yet.
Okay.
So I have always had some like two different goals. Like I want to have this career, this type of career, and I want to be this type of artist. And this type of artist, I will work all my life to get to it.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I have still like a way to go. So that's my motivation.
That's the answer. Don't you get tired sometime? I mean, you explained that already,
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah.
Sure. Like every 6 months. Basically.
Cyclical. Okay. Next question from Asia. Do you have specific resources, tutorial communities, or advice that you find essential to improve and become professional?
Essential, no, because like I think like everybody need to learn his own way.
Yeah.
But what is essential as general topic is the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So we heard about this a lot, but you have to, if you want to do character, you have to know anatomy, figure drawing. So you have to work on this. If you want to do like more environment and architecture, you have to really know perspective and really to understand this. As a general rule for everybody, you have to really understand how value work, how shape language work, and yeah, and always come back to this. And don't expect to learn everything at once. Like, okay, I will like work like a man for a year and I will be good. No, it doesn't happen like this. Sadly, you learn like bit by bit, and you let your brain time to digest and to really like anchor this like knowledge deep into your mind and then move on to something else.
Yeah.
So usually what I do when I'm studying, so I jump from a subject to another. Like for like a week, I would do like maybe figure drawing, just to get better figure drawing, and then I would next week I would do something totally different. I would like work on my value. I would do like some value and shape language exercise just for myself to warm up. Because I realized I needed to, if I work like for like 3 months like a madman on figure drawing, at some point I don't get any good anymore.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
you need to digest
like
it.
yeah, I'm doing like this, like I'm 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 growing, then I stop, and for
Yeah.
a good while. So during this time I will stop anyway. I'm doing something else, so I'm learning something new. And when I come back, like my brain
Process everything. Yeah.
yeah processed it and it's way easier and realize something.
Yeah. I don't
So yeah.
I don't remember why I saw it, but there was some kind of graph on the vertical axis. It was basically your skill appreciation, and on the horizontal one, it was like time, and it was comparing like what your hand is able to do and what your brain is able to understand. It was like your hand, it's like a stair, exactly as you mentioned, and your brain is kind of linear. There's always a moment where your hand is above your brain. At some point, it's going down, and that's when you need basically to move to something else and to learn something else.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you describe.
Yeah. I think you need like way more your brain than you need your hand.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The dexterity is really not a great. I mean, it doesn't really matter actually.
Yeah, you get this while practicing. It's like learning to aim on an FPS. Don't think about it, just practice. It's going to come.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really know what you're doing, you can basically draw with like the pen inside your teeth, you
Yeah.
know, in your mouth, and just draw something. Because
Yeah.
as soon as you understand what you are doing, even if your hand is all shaky and stuff
Yeah.
for some reason, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know, you always have like tool to compensate that.
100%.
So, yeah.
100%. Question from Sweetie Twilight. Would you advise to have a comfortable job outside of art domain to work on art on free time? I'm assuming this is for people that
You mean have a job just to
pay
have
your
food on the
bills.
table,
Yeah, I guess.
pay your bills,
While you're
and
working on art, yeah.
yeah, I can't advise against it. Like obviously you need money to live, so yeah. If you can get a job in art, it's better because you will do art 8 hours a week and we get salary for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's not a bad thing if you like you need money anyway in our world, so you have to pay your bills. So yeah, don't starve yourself to be an artist.
Yeah. Something that a friend told me about when you need to have a job to pay your bills while you are learning something is like a night shift job, like receptionist in a hotel or something like that, because you will have to deal with like 2 customers at night max. Most of the time you are just paid to be there. So you can have like audiobooks in your ear. You can have probably a small notebook and draw, and it doesn't bother anyone because you have nothing else to do. So you are paid.
Yeah, maybe. I
and you
never
can
really
learn.
thought about that because, like I said, my wife was really supportive. So when I was learning, and I was like, I didn't had like a lot of clients, and it was like pretty tough at the beginning. My wife was working,
Okay.
so we had a salary for us.
Okay.
So I wasn't too stressed about this. So I had I was really lucky to have this like opportunity for me.
Yeah. Nice. Next question from Estonian Hyena. If the bar is much higher are the opportunities for other who are not at that high level to get noticed harder as well?
Okay, rephrase that.
If the bar is much higher, are the opportunities for other who are not at that high level to get noticed? Okay. I'm assuming there is a high bar of expectancy from the industry.
Yeah.
How is that going for those that are not there yet, basically?
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely harder because I wasn't there yet for a while. Yeah, there is like this magical industry standard bar nobody can see, but so yeah, but you can still work because like the industry standard is like fantasy. Especially like it's more for like big company, I think, because like a lot of smaller company don't have the same standard as big company can have, right?
Yeah.
And which makes sense if you like making like you invest million making game or a movie, you want like people who can like really like do the job super well because you want to get your money back, right?
Sort of
when you are selling your game.
Yeah.
If you are doing like this tiny advertising game for like a web company, and maybe like 60 people will play it, you don't have the same stake. So obviously the standard is not the same.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel it's like shifting from company to company. But yeah, the better you are, the easier it is to get the job, obviously. But yeah, it's definitely tough when you are starting.
Yeah, as you said, there's like this invisible line where, okay, you are quote unquote good enough. Nobody will ever be good enough. You can always go higher. But there's like the student level or the student and slash amateur level. There's the professional level, and there's a big no man's land in between. It's like limbo because.
Yeah, I don't think it's that clear because I saw amazing student.
Sure.
When I was doing workshop, like some students were like really good already.
Yeah.
So and you never know. So yeah, it's hard to judge. I think what you are looking for is to be comfortable at doing something.
Yeah.
You know. So if you want to do character, when you are feeling comfortable like drawing character, like you're when you start painting it, that's the place you want to be.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
It's a good signal, like you are at this place where you are like comfortable with your job, and usually it's where you meet the so-called industry standard.
Yeah.
It's the way I see it, anyway.
Would you say, for at least for a first job acquisition perspective, would you say it's kind of better and not better, but at least more efficient job wise to specialize into one thing and being very good at that?
Yeah, I think there's room for both
Yeah, of
style,
course.
because you have basically two way of doing things. Like you can like be super specialized, right? Or you can be like more generalist.
Yeah.
And the way I see it and my experience as a freelancer is usually smaller company, indie games and stuff like this. They want people who can do like a lot of different
Yep.
things because they can't hire 50 concept artists to
Yep.
do their game,
Yep.
or even two
Yep.
sometime. So they want like someone or like a couple of people who can do like environment, who can do and jump to character and jump to weapon and jump to something else. And you have like a real value if you can jump to from one subject to another. But let's say you want to work for like some bigger company or bigger project, they tend to want people who are really specialized because they want people who are really really good at something.
Yep.
And the only way I feel you can be super good at something, it's really focusing on that specific things. It's like way easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely agree. Next question. Question from Neris Arcane. Do you recommend any platform to post our portfolio? I'm assuming except ArtStation. It is pretty much the standout today.
I'm really bad at social media, to be honest with you. So I started to work on my social media like a few years ago when I was like taking this Blizzard job seriously. I mean, like getting job at Blizzard seriously.
Yeah.
So the only lesson I retain from this is like you have to post like on a regular basis to grow up your follower and do good work if you can. But yeah, I think ArtStation is pretty big right now. So a lot of people are using it in this industry just to check out like portfolio and just check out other artists. If you're not on it, I don't think it's a big issue either. Like as long as you can display your portfolio somewhere,
Yeah.
it's yeah. It gives you an opportunity to be like on a big project platform, but
Yeah.
can depend on from country to country because I think Behance is a thing too. I never really used it. There is like other platform out there,
Yeah.
so I just you don't need to be like everywhere either. Just like pick something you like and
Yeah, and it also kind of depends on your job field. Like, for example, if you are in the VFX industry, Vimeo is the place to be because you have
maybe
display videos for your demo reads and stuff like that. Behance is like, let's say you are doing UI design, graphic design. Of course, you will be on Behance. It kind of depends on the kind of art you are doing. I will say that's just my guesstimate.
probably.
But that's just for a first job perspective, because generally, once you are in the industry, once you start to have some clients or some lines on the resume in studio, with studio experience, companies find you anyway. You never know how they found you, but they always figure out to find you. And sometimes they almost dock you, like, hey, we know that you are finishing this job in 2 weeks. Are you available? It's like, how do you know that?
Don't know that. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. As long as you are online, nowadays I feel you need some kind of online presence.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So if you are good at social media, it's plus for you.
Yeah.
but your portfolio is like 90% of what you need.
I mean, your art is what will sell you basically to companies. It's not that much you being able to hustle and do marketing techniques on the internet. It's good to get more viewers, of course. So it's kind of increasing your chance. But anyways, your art is what matters eventually.
Yeah, your art and yourself.
Yeah.
Because you want them to want working with you.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
That's what you said at the beginning. Being a nice person, especially in the industry, is so important because it's such a small industry. Everyone knows each other. So if everyone speaks about you as being a nice person, of course it will help you eventually.
Yeah, sure. Be kind.
Be kind. Be a nice person. I'm done with the questions. Any more questions, chat?
All right.
In the meantime, okay. You can either way, yeah. Do you have any final word for people watching us? We'd probably watch the replay on YouTube for people wanting to join the industry. Any final word, secret tip, words of inspiration?
The secret tip
For the younger generation.
Just eat an apple every day and you'll be good to go.
All right.
No, just focus on, I said focus on story when you're concepting something. Always think about, always ask yourself why. If you want to like draw this big character with a big sword flaming, why? So why does he has this big sword? Where does this come from? What kind of character is it? And these questions are probably the most important things in the concept.
Yeah.
And then you can do something. And usually it lead to a better design when you are really thinking about the story behind it.
Yeah.
If you're just drawing a mountain just to draw a mountain, or a night just to draw a night, it will be the most boring and standard night you already saw like 1,000 times out there. If you really think first, oh, I want to draw this character, he comes from this world and he has to fight this and this and that, you usually find better ideas and better design.
Yeah.
So think about story first.
Yeah.
This is my advice. And don't kill yourself at work and just be kind with everybody and you'll be good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming here, man. It's been such a nice discussion. Put a one in the chat if you enjoyed the stream, guys. But
thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always the same with you. It's like we are listening to you, and there's so much goodness coming out of you, so much wisdom. And I'm pretty sure it will be absolutely valuable for everyone. So yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Wow.
So I can't wait to see your next interview.
I will see. I have some big names. As always, if you are an artist in the industry in the chat, you can of course send me an email if you want to have an interview. Otherwise, I'll come to you and harass you online to, hey, do you want to do an interview? But
I saw the last one. The last one was really cool.
Our content was so great.
Yeah, it was really interesting. He had like such an interesting like journey.
Yeah,
he did so many different things.
Yeah, he did so many different stuff. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the jazz. The like button. Feel free to subscribe. Join us on Twitch. Join us on Discord to build the community. You know the jazz. Do you want to share anything that you are doing, setting? Do you have any tutorials that you could share for you if you want?
Not really. I have an old one on ArtStation about the workflow between ZBrush and Photoshop for concept art. It's a bit outdated, but you can check it out if you want to. But feel free if you have like any art-related question. You can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I try to answer to every time I have a question. I don't always have the time,
Yeah,
so bear with me if I don't answer right away.
no
But
problem.
feel free to do so.
Your tag is next time on social media?
Yeah, now it must be like Maxence
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay.
But yeah, Nexum is my tag.
Sure, no problem. All right, guys, go send some likes to Maxence. Anyways, thank you so much for coming. See you next time, guys. I'm gonna cut the stream if my mouse died. Okay. I need to do that with the tablet then. All right. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Take care.